Hello, I'm Grant. This is Economic. Today I am talking about pretty much what's happening in the market. So, we've all been paying attention and, of course, are aware of what's been happening with the pandemic that's currently happening. So, every year for the last 3 years, has really been something that's been moving the market in a certain way. Back in 2018, the Fed increased interest rates. 2019, the trade war with China was weighing on the market for most of the year, and the Fed changing interest rates also had an effect at the same time. Now this year, the pandemic's happening, so there's been something weighing on the market in one way or another for the last few years. So I just was looking at kind of um, how things are in the market, where things are overbought or oversold. Is there a good balance of things to buy or things that are doing well? And so after there was a huge dip back in May, everything's pretty much going up. So that's what I'm looking at today. So looking at like just recent days, I'm not going to show exactly today. But recent days, you can kind of see that it's been very heavy overbought versus oversold. So the 13th to 14th, it's been pretty much like 7 or 8 to one in terms of overbought to oversold. Before that, it was a little bit less than that. That's just now. This is after there's been a recovery. So if we go back to October of last year, back in October, it was way more balanced. It was like 1.5 to 1 over oversold to overbought. So at that time, it was good balance between things to buy, things that were doing really well. So if I go back a little bit further, you can see that it was still pretty balanced. Um, Back at this time, this is when the China trade war was starting to wrap up. Before that, it was a little bit higher, but it was way more balanced. So just looking at that, you can see that there are considerably more things that are overbought than oversold right now. So it's hard finding a good deal in the market. So I recently made a tool that looks at the top 100 stocks that are neither overbought or oversold, just to kind of help find what good companies aren't priced terribly. So kind of looking at that now. There's Google, Berkshire Hathaway, Visa, Johnson Johnson, J.P. Morgan. So a lot of the big names, Coca-Cola, Eli Lilly. So there's a lot of big names. So this is this is a tool I made just this past weekend just to help with finding opportunities that aren't overbought, because it's very difficult to find anything that you like that's not overbought right now. There are many things that are oversold that you don't want to buy. I've looked at a few. I haven't talked about many of them just because there's so few that are actually interesting. So um, recently, I also made a tool that I've kind of made before but haven't talked about. This is the total market RSI, is what I'm calling it. It just kind of shows you a snapshot of today. I don't track it over time, of what's kind of the state of the market, overbought, oversold. How close are we to there being everything that's expensive or everything that's cheap? So right now, pretty much looking at everything being expensive, but we already knew that. So pretty much everything is oversold, or is pretty much everything is overbought right now. Everything's over 70. I consider overbought to really be like 80. I know the standard is usually 70. So right now, you're just looking at high prices to buy anything. So I'm pretty sure that what's going to end up happening is, if the market's going to correct itself, it's probably going to take until after the election or further for the market to rebalance and get everything back to uh, relying on fundamentals and numbers that actually mean something instead of going, oh, this is a textile, let me buy it, which has been for the last few months. So yeah, just to wrap up today, pretty much it's mostly expensive stocks. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. This is Economic. I'm Grant. Keep investing.